Lots more things are happening in our favor, and I'm really looking forward to the great changes that can happen in 2025 for all of us. We finished the last of the bank treaties. We have lots of dollars liquid in the system. We have lots of other banks to trade with now. We have approximately 350 million people on the planet engaged and part of our system, which is recognized as a desirable option to not be forced into a single source provider contract with either BRICS or with SWIFT type systems, QFS systems, which is just a replacement for SWIFT. All these guys, both sides of that, are trying to force countries and people to have a sole source provider contract with them, so that if you're part of one, you're not supposed to be part of the other, and supposed to undergo all these different trading agreements to be able to embargo funds and target individuals and all that kind of crap. Well, we're not doing any of that. Our system is free to walk, and we're not putting up with any use of banking as a means of control and coercion. We're done with that. We're saying bye. And so a lot of other countries have been looking for a way to trade that is not politicized, that is just pure and simple, a way to conduct trade that is responsible and transparent, but isn't bogged down with all this crooked accounting, and isn't bogged down with all this coercive and targeted, politicized manipulation against specific people and countries, and isn't designed to be that kind of a system. It's just designed very simply with carriage accounting and blockchain for use of average people, just people, not big corporations, not huge corporate things, but just us, people, Joe Average, Anna Average, okay? And so other countries are looking for that. They're looking for an option out so that they're not tied into that entire kind of filthy system again. You know, it's between BRICS and SWIFT, it's been kind of a jumping from the fire into the frying pan situation. QFS does nothing to calm their nerves because it just looks like the old SWIFT system on speed. So nobody wants anything to do with QFS if they don't have to. Nobody wants anything to do with BRICS if they don't have to. And guess what? They don't have to. Or they can have a relationship with SWIFT, QFS, I say SWIFT, QFS / or BRICS. They have another option. And so you have another option, and you are not subject to the vagaries and manipulations and other things that have so far affected other countries. We're going to be in it, but not of it. And we're just going to have our own banking system that is not any of those kinds of coercive things. Be happy, it's done. The treaties are signed. The work has been completed. The people are very happy. Everyone who's been working on this so diligently is very, very happy. The IT team finished the IT side of it on December 11th, and they took 10 days off, so they just came back to work on Friday, and they've been working steadily throughout the weekend and are putting together the last little tiny bits and pieces so that we will have a new banking system going into the new year. And yes, your accounts will be liquid. And I'm not going to say a specific time after that, but within a reasonable amount of time after that, the state assembly budgets will be liquid, and all those state accounts will be liquid. And we will start to move forward as a funded and enabled system, our own system. And, that's going to make a huge amount of difference. I was trying to explain that our country is a country that is founded on a rather unique idea, and that is that the government owes service to the people don't owe service to the government. Every other nation on earth, when people are born in a country, they inherit citizenship obligations right straight out of the birth canal. They are basically enslaved for life by a monarch or a pope or some grand poobah who makes a claim on their labor and their time and their loyalty and everything else. And they do this arbitrarily. In our country, we fought for 8 long years to do away with that system. And I think that people need to really think about this. When we're born, we don't owe any government anything. We're just living men and women. We're just babies. We're just free little beings who arrived on this planet and who don't owe the government anything. Isn't that wonderful?
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
I was talking to several other people that are engaged in international diplomacy for their countries, right? They were asking me why the Federation and I, myself specifically, don't have a salary and a budget for us, for the Federation. And I had to explain to them that we have, number one, a government which belongs to the people, and therefore, in a sense, we're cutting our own lawn. We're mowing our own lawn here. So it's not like you don't pay yourself to mow your own lawn, do you? Or to pick your own fruit, or to do any number of things that you do for yourself. You just do it. You do it because it needs to be done and it's yours and you're a responsible caretaker, so you take care of your own business, right? So we don't have salaries here. And we don't really have budgets. We have needs, and we fulfill those needs, and we prioritize as best we can, as responsibly as we can. But we don't do the corporate thing. We don't have positional power. We're not seeking individual power for ourselves. We're doing a job. We're taking care of our business. We've got our little mom and pop shop here, and we're taking care of our own business. So, no, I don't have a salary. And no, the Federation doesn't have a budget per se. When we have needed things that we really needed, we have, in keeping with the size of our operation, been able to meet the obligations and fulfill those needs. It's been our job to keep the budget and the scope of our work confined closely enough so that we have seldom had any real pressure on us in terms of you have to do this and you don't have the money. And any time that it turned out that we needed to do that and we didn't have the money, we simply turned to each other and said, hey, we got to come up with some extra cash here. And we've always done that. We've always managed to make it work. Not once in the entirety of our endeavor here have we ever gone in the red. Think about that. You hear about these huge government deficits. Well, they're spending somebody else's money recklessly. They're imposing on our credit recklessly because they think it has no direct impact on them. They're just spending our money, right? Well, it turns out that they are responsible for spending our money. But quite apart from that, we're responsible for spending our money. as numerous people have found out, your fiduciary can be quite cheap. Always thinking about, is this cost efficient? Is this something that works? And so that's the way you have to think when it's your government and it's your money. It's a whole different perspective, because you're not working for someone else. You're working for yourself. You, as the employer, have a different set of concerns. That is now spreading out throughout the entire world, and people are thinking about government in a different way. This is our government. Why should we be fixated on all this hierarchy? Because then you'd have a whole bunch of bureaucrats and bounders who would be stepping up and volunteering and running for office and spending big bucks on running for an office in order to take advantage of that office, and, not necessarily there for the right reasons.
So, if you're going to fix something, it can't be from the same thinking that created it.
Exactly. And I think that one way to ensure people participate is to give them decisions and responsibilities that they have to make. If they have to stop and really think about what percentage of their money do they want to spend on defense, and how much do they want to spend on health, and how much they want to spend on education, and if they have to really come to grips with their own judgment of these things, are they going to choose guns, or are they going to choose butter? What's their real value system? What do they believe in? What do they want? If they have to answer that question, what do they want, and be serious about it, knowing that their decision is going to carry weight, and that it's going to have an effect on what services are available, and how the public purse is managed, I think people would take a lot more interest in their government, and would take a lot more thought and really think about what they're doing and the effect that has, and how spending impacts what happens. But, I said to these other people, these other diplomats and representatives of sovereign governments from around the world, and I said, if you spend your money on war, you get war. If we want peace, we have to stop spending money on war. I mean, duh. And that's why I constantly ask you all, what do you want? Instead of all this clap, 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 clap from the BBC. Nice people whose motto is listen and obey. They're over here promoting an agenda brought to you by industrialists, warmongers, and poisoners who want to sell you their products. And they're going to do everything that they can to make you buy their products, even vaccinate you with diseases so that you're forced to buy their products. Okay? These guys over here that are yelping and causing all this noise and all this, controversy and disruption and war, and who are spending all your money feeding this beast over here, and it's just like a mouth. I mean, it's just gobbling up everything it can gobble all the time. They're keeping this going, and this is distracting you from what you want and what you need. We're not going to be in office if we don't go with what the people want. So all of a sudden they start spending money on peace. Okay, all of a sudden they start spending money on help to the hurricane victims instead of $1 billion to preserve Ecuadorian rainforests.
It's a totally different world when you're living under the doctrine of abundance. And your whole perspective needs to change. And the one thing that I really love about thinking about the differences is that under the doctrine of abundance, there's no room for the criminal mind.
Right. Criminals don't belong in our world. There really is no excuse for criminality in our world. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, in the great satanic tradition, came right out and told everybody that when he said, "There's nothing to fear but fear itself." But they have to tell you. We've been dumbed down deliberately. Our children have been left ignorant. And the parents have been kept working so hard that they haven't had time with their kids to even know that their children weren't getting a decent education. And I hate to say that because people are lazy and they want somebody to just come along and hand them everything they want on a silver platter, but I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. We all have to do our part. And most of all, we have to know what we want and keep focused on what we want. You can call it magic. You can call it destiny. You can call it an ever-expanding morphogenic information field that responds to you. You can call it God. And you're just left looking at what you want out of your life and your world and your country. You concentrate on that. You give your attention to that. And all the rest of the stuff, all the other questions, get answered. The who will show up, the where will show up, the when will show up, the how will show up. All those other things will just fall into place like magic in ways that you couldn't expect or plan. Pay attention to what you want.